Hey everyone, we're making crystal pendants. I don't know if you saw my post on the Peace, Love, and Crystals page, but I make my crystals into pendants because I'm really clumsy and I drop everything and I break everything. Actually, I broke a moonstone yesterday, a pendant that I made. I broke it. I dropped it on the floor. It was a little heart. Oh, it's broken. It happens. I'm wearing one right now. It's a tiny fossilized piece of sand. So you can make big pendants, tiny pendants like that. I have a tiny piece of selenite and I have a giant piece of selenite. So depending on what you want to do, what you want to wear, there's a lot of options. I just made this one. It's a pyrite. It's hard to see with this camera, but let's start. So I have my supplies all right in front of me, including my wine and some water. I made some pendants yesterday so that I can show you the next step, because the first step is gluing the jump ring on. And you need to wait 24 hours until you can put the foil on top, because the glue has to cure to the stone and the jump ring. Otherwise it'll fall apart. I've done that. I brushed it because I wanted to wear a pendant with an outfit that maybe matched, and I would wear it too soon and it would just fall off. So you want to wait the 24 hours after you glue the jump ring on. So I made a few, and I use rice, just dry rice, to hold my stones as I'm doing them, because I tried like a piece of styrofoam and they're hard to stay. You can't stand them up. You know, you have spheres, tiny little ones, and my little opal, my fire opal, and I stand them up in the rice. So in this front section, I'm gonna show you the foiling method with the ones that I already created, and then we'll start on the far end with the glue on the jump rings. So I have some crystals here in my box and crystals here in my bag that I really want as pendants. I have these beautiful goddesses. They even have a butt and boobies. And some goddesses that I want to make into pendants. I even have, my husband is a policeman. He's actually a detective man in the NYPD. And he gave me one of his bullets. And I'm going to make that into a pendant as well. Glue the jump ring on top. So you can really do anything. You can use a shell, like a seashell you find. You can use a piece of driftwood. Like, I have all sorts of weird pieces that I make into pendants. Like a giant piece of driftwood with a piece of sodalite stuck in it. You know, I don't know if I would even wear this. I just get creative sometimes and I just feel like making weird stuff, but it all comes out pretty cool. You can do giant pieces. I have a piece of, like a giant piece of petrified wood, and you just thread it through your chain and it hangs so pretty. It's really fun. Once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. In the beginning, it's really messy and it's really almost frustrating, but it's not too hard. So I'm going to take maybe one of my goddesses and maybe a sphere. I have a polychrome jasper heart. The sphere, I think, is rhyolite? I don't know. It's bronzite, I think. Anyway, take a couple of small ones from here. Maybe this little guy. Some of these I don't even know what they are. I have them written down somewhere, but I have so many different crystals that sometimes, you know, you forget what they are. And we'll do that. This is definitely a sodalite sphere. It's so tiny and it has a little white front dot on it. How cute that would be to just sit right like that. So cute. And then I'll do, these are tough. They're tough because you'd want it to hang from the top here. And to get a jump ring to glue on here, it's kind of like advanced. So once you get the hang of something like these, even these are a little tough. You can move on to stuff like this, but you have some that are pretty easy. Like this would be really easy. This little black tourmaline, because it has kind of a flat top. So you can just sit the jump ring right on top. And I have some jump rings that are flat. Like these. They're flat. They're wide, I should say. They're wide so that if you want to use one like this, I got these on Etsy, I think, or eBay. I don't know. You can find them at garage sales. Like I find anything anywhere, like little rings of anything. Junk drawers. You can find a lot to use as a jump ring even. Yeah, you could put it right here like that and it would sit very easily right in there. So let's get started. Let's have a sip of wine. I need some fuel. I worked all day. Okay. Set my rice aside. All right, I'm going to start with my glue, and I really should have probably gotten another one so I can show it off, but it's E6000 glue. It's really easy to work with. You can wipe it off. I carry acetone and some Q-tips just in case I get a spot on the stone that I don't care for. I could just get rid of it with some acetone. So start with E6000 glue. Take your little black tourmaline and we're going to put a blob on top. Just like that. A blob of glue. I hope you can see it. I'm going to stick it in the rice so it can dry for like, sometimes I let the glue dry for like 20 minutes and I completely forget that I'm even making crystal pendants. And I come back and all I do is, if the glue is already kind of dry on the stone, which you want it somewhat tacky, you don't want it really liquidy because you're not going to be able to get the jump ring to stay. The jump ring will stay better if you let the glue get tacky first. So I'll take a jump ring. Let's see, I don't know what color I want to use. I use all different kinds. Maybe I'll use that one I just had, the flat one. And I'll just put the glue on the jump ring, a little bit of glue on the jump ring, and it adheres perfectly. If you just like mush it in there, it'll get in there. Okay, so I'm gonna take my heart, my polychrome heart, and with this one, I try to like look at it and decide like how I want it to hang. You can either put one jump ring in the center and let it hang from the center, or sometimes, let's see, like this one, you can hang it from two, and then you just thread your chain right through there. So with this one, I think I want to do, I think one would look cute. Yeah, I'm going to do one. So I'm going to do right in the center here, another blob of glue. Stuff is so easy to work with. When you get a new bottle, you're going to want to keep it's hard because it'll just like start squirting out. And I don't know if you've ever used this glue before, but it really does, like if you don't have like a little air pocket in there to like pull the glue back in, it'll start dumping out all over the place. So try to be wary of that. All right, for my lady, my goddess, she's gonna be tough. This is an advanced one because again, we're working with a tiny little point. It's really hard to get anything to stick on a little point like that. And I'm gonna need a little bit of a bigger jump ring because it's heavy. And I don't even know if I have a jump ring that would look good on this. Maybe a bronze one? That's fun. Matches completely. Or I can use a silver one. I don't know. Maybe I'll save that for next time. I'm a little bit nervous on what jump ring I want on that one. All right, let me go to my sphere. These are pretty easy. You just have to make sure you know where you want the stone to lay on your chest. Or you can make earrings, or I even made a whole bunch of big crystals, and they're hanging above my bed as like a, I don't know, my little sanctuary of crystals. So I'm gonna want, I think it looks like a little V or a little bird. So I'm gonna put it right at the top. And again, you just make a blob. Just do a blob of glue and let it sit there in the rice. Sometimes the glue moves, so you just have to make sure that the stone is upright in the rice. All right, so as I let them dry, I'm gonna show you how to do the foiling method. So I use, here's my foil. There's different brands. You can get, I think it's Mona Lisa. Obviously it's Mona Lisa on the front. There's Mona Lisa Flake. There is this Craft Smart. I have the rose gold. And I don't have a picture of the silver because I put my, once the flake starts to, some of them come in sheets like this. It's really messy. It gets everywhere. You'll get it all in your hair, your eyelashes. It's pretty messy. Nothing a vacuum can't pick up later. But I put my silver in these little buckets here. And as you can see, it loves static electricity, so it sticks everywhere and it flies around the room. There it goes. It's like snowing in here. So first, you're gonna want to take a craft brush. I get these at the dollar store. It's like 12 in a package for $1. And I use them until they get cruddy. Like I wash them with just Dawn soap, and once they start to get like yucky, I just throw them out, and they're cheap, so I could throw them out. You can use another brush as long as you know how to clean it properly. You can use a good brush. Like these are sometimes hard to work with because they're flat, but I just use the corner. So I have here adhesive size. I don't know what adhesive size means, but it's adhesive. The size part, I don't know. Give a little shake. It's pretty sticky. White, comes out white. So let's take my tiny little rhodochrosite I made yesterday. I glued the jump ring on the top. As you can see, there was a tiny point. And this one was a little tough because it kept flopping back and forth. So you can kind of sit there and blow on it if it starts to do that, or you can just keep maneuvering it. The glue works so well. So it's, if you have a problem an hour later, you can take that thing and just bend it and it'll still cure. the way that you want it to. And the next day, if it doesn't, you can just throw a little bit more glue on there and just bend it where you want. Sometimes I use a jewelry glue or a super glue because it's one of those glues that dries like instantly, like nail glue. And if you find that the next day, like this one, for instance, I don't like how it's so crooked. So I'll take this and I'll just bend it. And then I'll throw some nail glue on right where I want it to just stay. And it'll stay in an instant and then I can work with it. But some of them do, they wobble around in the night and there's nothing really you can do about that unless you sit here and stare at them all day. And I'm not doing that. So let's take this little rhodochrosite and we're gonna dip the brush a tiny bit in the glue. You don't want a lot on the brush, you just want it a tiny bit wet. And you're gonna brush it on the glue portion. Don't worry about if you get it on the jump ring. You can remove it later or keep it. I just leave it. Now let's do my red tiger eye pill. This one's cool. This one had a flat top, so it was really, really easy to work with. And you're just gonna brush the glue on, well, it is a glue. You're gonna brush the adhesive size on top of where the glue is. Sometimes rough stones are a little tough to work with because you'll accidentally get glue or adhesive in like one of the pockets of the stone, like this one, my azurite and malachite. I ended up messing, this one made a mess. I even messed up on the back. It dripped down the back, but you don't see it. So that's what the acetone is for. If you mess up, you just put your Q-tip in a little bit of acetone and you can remove the glue or the adhesive or even the foil sometimes gets in the grooves and it sticks to some of the stones. So you could just use your acetone to get that off. All right, so I'm gonna do 3 of these. This is my little, what is this, a leopard skin jasper? And I did a 2 on that one. Oh, and it's crooked too, so I'm gonna fix that. This side's crooked. That would drive me crazy. So I'm gonna take my jewelry glue, or you can use like nail glue. I prefer the jewelry glue. It used to have a pointy tip, but I cut it off because I think it got clogged. So I'm just gonna throw some glue on there to get it to stay put. And it might not. Come on. Sometimes I glue my fingers together by accident. Clumsy. Is that better? See, it's really workable. This is 24 hours cured. And you would think that because the glue works like this, that your stone would just like fall off. But I should count one day how many I actually have, because I have so many and not one has ever come off. And some of them are really heavy. I have some really heavy pieces that just don't budge. Like I have this giant thing, like where am I gonna wear this? Maybe I should hang this one from my ceiling. Zebra jasper, I think. Rough in the rough. All right, it's straightened out. Perfect. Now, since there's glue on that one, I'm not going to put any adhesive on it yet, but at least I got to show you how to maneuver the ring if you don't like the way it looks the next day. I close that up before I mess up again with my glue. Instead of that one, let's do my beautiful labradorite. There's a flash somewhere in there, but I guess you can't see it because it's a front-facing camera. I don't know. But it looks like a arrowhead. It's cool. So again, You want to dip a small amount. You don't want it to look milky, like too milky. If it pulls up and looks milky, it's just going to take too long to dry, and you just want enough for it to be sticky. Okay, so let's go back to, I should wash my brush. I'll be right back. I'm gonna wash my brush. I don't want it to go bad. Don't mind my messy house. I have 2 children. Just some soap and clean the brush. Easy. Super easy. Okay, now we're gonna go back to the black tourmaline with the glue, but first wine. Okay, now we decided on this flat jump ring. Now this is probably it's pretty dry. So I'm going to take the jump ring. I have a method. I hold it here, and you'll figure your method out. I'm just going to take a touch more glue, and I'm going to put it on the edge of and the glue is it's just really easy to work with. It doesn't stick on you. It's so easy to work with, this glue. So I'm going to put a tiny bit here on the jump ring. And then we're going to situate it right there. Does that look straight? No. I have to look at it. If I show you, it'll end up crooked. Gotta show me so I can see what I'm doing. So there. My jump ring is put on the glue, and it looks good. You have a long time to figure out if that's how you want it. So it's really workable glue. Okay, so now we have this skinny jump ring, and I think this is probably a 8mm. I have 8s. I have smaller 6s maybe. It's hard to tell what size they are, but you can tell just by looking at them, like in the craft store, if they're going to be the right size to thread a chain through. And my chains are really small on the end. I don't have like a big clasp on the end, so it just slides right through, all of them. I use like the same 3 chains, a gold one, sometimes a rope or a choker. I have chokers. I have like the metal choker type that go around your neck. You could do so much. All right, so now we're gonna do the polychrome jasper heart, and that one I can't hold together. So let's throw a little bit of glue on the jump ring. It doesn't matter which way this one faces, because it's not like wire where you have to figure out like, oh, I don't want to cover that, or I don't want to cover that. Sometimes the wire method, it covers too much. So this gives you the opportunity to see the entire stone all the time, front or back. You could wear it. I have one geode that sometimes I wear the geode inward because it looks like a beautiful like teardrop. And then sometimes I wear it the other way, like say if it's hanging down here, it shows on the outside. Okay, here's another one. Let's go. I squish that on in there. And this one's gonna flop around a bit because it's not the jump ring that we just used. I don't even know if you could call that a jump ring because it doesn't actually open, but it's like a flat, wide ring. Well, I didn't have too many problems with that. See, if you wait a few minutes, I don't even know how long I waited. 10 minutes, you can wait 20 minutes, you can wait 5 minutes, but you want to make sure that when you touch the glue, it feels tacky. You don't want it sticking your finger and creating webs, because that's when the jump ring starts leaving town. It's just flops sideways and this way. And now if I did my goddess, if I did this, this would have to be like a whole entire video on its own, because these are kind of tough. the glue drips down the back. Like, I don't care for the glue being anywhere except for exactly where the jump ring is supposed to be. I want every part of the stone to show. Okay, we didn't decide on a jump ring for this one. Let's see. That's nice. I have another style flat jump ring, a little smaller and darker than the other silver one that I showed you. Let me see if I can, oh, that works out. Show you the difference. It's hard to tell, but one's bright silver and shiny, and the other one is a little bit smaller and darker silver. Okay, we're gonna throw some glue on the edge of the jump ring and line it up so that my little birdie looking thing is in the front. Oh, let me make sure I'm showing you. And then put that right on there. And now this one came out a little messy because I had more glue. Now when I put the foil on this, I'm not gonna really want that big clump there. So I'm gonna get rid of that. And since the glue is so easy to work with, I can just kind of take my end of my brush and just smush it down so it's not like, the glue's not sticking out. I want a nice round. When I first started doing this, everything was really messy and it was all over the place. The glue was everywhere. Once you start to understand how to work with it, I didn't have a video to watch. I couldn't really find a video to watch on this thing. I kind of just like almost came up with it on my own in a way, because I looked at a video of how a lot of people do the metal leafing on a picture frame, and I incorporated that idea, or maybe it's not even my idea, but I incorporate it into this. Now I put that on crooked, so I'm going to fix that. Perfect. That one's on there in the position I want. Perfect. Oh, I can show you what happens when the jump ring decides to leave town. Happens a lot. Just put it back. And you might sit here for a little while finagling with these things. What you could do, and sometimes I do, is if it's really giving me a hard time, you can kind of cheat and you can throw some of the jewelry glue or the nail glue super glue, and it instantly tames it, I should say. So just throw a little bit of that on there. And the only reason I don't like doing this is because I don't really care for the way that this glue dries. It dries like white, but there's times where I just don't really care and I just do it anyway because the ring is driving me nutty. So, ta-da, fixed. Good, glad we had that issue so we can cover that right off the bat. Now, let's get back, putting the cap on the wrong thing. Let's get back to foil. I may have waited too long on that, but let's see. I'll take my rotochrosite that I already put my adhesive on, and we have my foil here. You gotta grab your foil. You can use different color. This is like a gold and copper, and some of it is blue. It's really pretty. They make all different color foils, like black and gray and yellow and purple. And I have all different color jump rings in case you have like a, what are these called? The aura, the titanium aura. You know, I put a pink one on there because I thought it would look really fun. And if I had the pink foil, I could have used pink foil on there, but I'm not made of money and I don't have the time for all that, so I just use silver. Because then you start getting expensive. But I might buy a couple of colors. So hopefully this is still glue. If not, we'll just throw some more on there. And I just take it and I just slap it around in here. Oh, there it goes. The glue is still there. See, it's tacky enough. It's just not going to dry. It's like one of those things, like if you put nail polish on your nail and you don't put a top coat on, it just feels like it's never drying. So you're just going to take the foil and kind of make sure that it's on every part of the glue adhesive. And there you go. The foil is on there. It looks messy at first. It really does. It's going to look messy. And then we had the red tiger eye. Dip that in there. I use silver a lot because I just wear, obviously you can see all my rings, I wear a lot of silver, but I do wear gold, and I do have a lot of gold, and I have a lot of rose gold too. Some stones just don't look good with silver, so I use gold on a lot of them. Yeah, I have a lot of gold. So there, you're just gonna press the foil on there and make sure that it's like all stuck everywhere that the adhesive is. And now we have the labradorite. Again, dip away and cover the adhesive. This stone is going to, it's not going to give me a problem. Nothing's really a problem for me anymore, but there are certain stones that just attract, like I didn't actually put any glue there. So as you can see, there's foil stuck all over the stone, and it happens. That's what I use the acetone for. A little dab of that at the end and it gets rid of all that. Okay, my polychrome jasper jump ring is still moving. It's still moving. So I'm just gonna manhandle this thing and get it into place. You behave. All right, I think it's situated. Yeah, and you can, as it's in the rice, you can't really see, as it's in the rice, you can kind of like push it back and forth because it really sticks there in the rice. And the rice is good for even tiny stones. Like I did this itty bitty hematite ball. Tiny hematite. So cute. And it just sticks in here. Sometimes with the spheres, it's easy to just stick it in a jump ring. Like put the jump ring on the table and put the ball right in there. It sits right in the jump ring. That's easy too. But I like the rice method. Okay, now, where are we? We have to get the foil, all the excess foil, we have to get it off the stone. That's where my mascara brush that has cat hair in it. Let's get rid of that. I have 2 cats, 2 dogs, 2 guinea pigs, a hermit crab who I actually thought died this morning, and I was crying for like, I don't know, an hour. I went into my husband's bedroom and I just sat there and cried and cried and cried. I'm a Cancer, so 1, I'm sensitive, and 2, he's a hermit crab, so I'm a crab too, so he's my favorite pet in the house. Don't tell the other pets. We also have a gecko. So 2 kids, a husband, a mother, all those animals. There's a lot going on over here. So there's pet hair everywhere. There's my hair. There's a lot. There's everything going on. Now, next step. Take your mascara brush and you're just gonna get rid of all that excess foil. Don't be afraid to get a little rough. You don't want to get too rough because you don't want to like smash the jump ring and make it move. You could put the brush through and there we go. Nice and clean. You want to make sure all like the little pieces are like the little flakes that aren't stuck to the adhesive, you want to make sure they're gone. And typically I would wait. I wouldn't have done this right away, but that's my baby crying. I have a 15-month-old and she doesn't like sleeping at all. So the next step is to, as I was saying, before I get into a next step, I have to take care of this baby. I don't know how to like work the whole Apple iMovie thing and like cut the video and do this with the video. Maybe I'll try to figure it out one day, but for now, hold on. Maybe it's nightmares. I don't really know what her problem is, but she's got a lot of them. She's a Scorpio. I have problems. Although I love them so much. They're so great. Okay, where are we? I was saying that I typically wouldn't do this step right away. Aside for it being a video and we don't really want this video to carry on for 2 hours, I would probably wait 10 minutes after you put the foil on. I would wait 10 minutes, but I know, I'm not saying I know what I'm doing arrogantly, but I know what I'm doing. Here I am making a video. Obviously I should know what I'm doing, I guess. So just get rid of all the excess. And this is another one that, I don't know if you can see all the silver. I don't want all that on there. So you can kind of scrape it off with your nail if you want, or you can later just use a Q-tip dipped in the acetone just to clean off anything that sticks to the stone that you don't want there. And there's times that you get adhesive on the stone part and not strictly on the glue. So you can just push that like into the glue, maybe with your nail, if you have one. It's a tedious project. You're gonna want to have nails for this one. Okay, and here's my labradorite. This is the one that's the messy guy that's gonna have me running a lot of acetone on him. Sorry. I'll cleanse you later with love. And a selenite wand. I got a really beautiful piece of peach selenite. I didn't even know peach selenite existed, and I never really cared for selenite too much. It always splintered and like cut my fingers, so I gave up on it. I thought it just like didn't like me or something, so I just gave up on it. But I found this piece of peach selenite and it's so pretty. I had to have it. All right, see, it's a mess. On the back, there's flakes, pieces everywhere. It just looks like a complete disaster. But we can fix that. Next, sealer. Mona Lisa again. And there's other brands. This is speedballart.com. So if you can't find it, I guess you could go to speedballart.com. I don't know if you can read that. I could put it in the comments section. This part is just so easy. I'm so sloppy with this part because it doesn't really matter. I'm going to take my rhodochrosite and my clean brush and my sealer. Just wiggle it around. It's very thick. It's like cheesy. The adhesive is really watery. So dip the corner in with just a touch. You don't want too much. This is a tiny little area. I don't really even need this much. I'm gonna just slap it on there. Just blob it. Boop, 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 boop. And there is actually a piece of foil hanging off. You just pull that off. and then we lost a piece. So in this instance, because the sealer's already on, we can take a piece of foil and just throw it on there, and it actually sticks to the sealer just as it does the adhesive, which is crazy because it's supposed to be sealing, but it works that way. All right, got rid of that spot. I had an open spot. I guess that's what happens when you try to make a video and you're not actually like severely concentrating on what you're doing. Because I sit here and I'm like this for hours, just really tedious. So my tiger eye got a little along the edges and I don't really care for that. So I'm gonna push the part of the foil that I don't really want on the stone. I'm gonna push it towards the glue. And this is one of those instances where I'm going to use my acetone because my nail isn't doing the trick. So I'm going to dip a little bit of the Q-tip in the acetone and it's taking it right off. If you don't like using acetone, I think you could probably use alcohol. That might work, maybe oil. Like coconut oil. Some people don't really care for acetone and its chemical properties, but I think everything is technically derived from nature because, well, where else would we get it? So now I'm going to rub the rest of the foil off of the outside of the stone because it sticks, and I'm going to take my towel and I'm just going to kind of rub it so that all the little pieces come off. So now all the little pieces came off. It's looking nice and clean. Now we can seal it. Dab of sealer. Just go to town and slap it on there because it dries clear and it's easy to work with. There it goes. In a couple minutes that will dry clear. And I can actually wear this in 20 minutes because it's done. So obviously the rest is self-explanatory. You can turn off the video now and go about your life. I don't know if there's anything that I forgot to say. Looking at all my supplies, and I mean, I could show you my jump rings. This is how I keep my jump rings. There's all different colors. They even have huge ones. I make them. Where's my selenite? I have a piece of selenite that has like a cool, you thread it through here and it sits like that. Will I ever wear this? I don't think so. I doubt it. But you never know what I could do with it. I could make a keychain, I could dangle it in the car, I could flip it around my finger, whatever. But there's all sorts of different jump rings you can use. You could use rose gold. There's regular gold. I use all sorts of different. I use oblong ones sometimes. Black. I love using black on like hematite, and sometimes I make pendants for friends, and a lot of my friends are males, so I'll make like a hematite sphere with a black, I had black foil once, but it was a little weird to work with, so I think I threw it out, and I'm probably going to look into a different black foil. It was on clearance, no wonder. So yeah, I just hang it like this, and this is what a wire wrap looks like. Not that I did this one, I actually got this at a store on Long Island, but personally, I've actually never worn this. I wanted it because I really liked the shape of the blue kyanite, but I just don't really care for all of the coverage. It's like the whole stone is covered. And I bet underneath all that, there's probably like a face or something that we can't even see because it's covered in foil. Now, I'm not knocking, or not covered in foil, covered in wire. And I'm not knocking the wire method. But for me, it doesn't work because I want to see my entire stone. So I think that's it. I'm just going to work on my labradorite. I'm going to seal it. And maybe I'll put it on. Maybe I'll put one of them on. I'll show you what it looks like when it's on. I don't know if you could see much with this shirt that I have on, but let's see. See how my rhodochrosite looks. So I have really small chains. Some of these chains I made myself, and other ones like you can find chains that are really small on the end, and you can see how tiny this is. It's really small. So let's thread the rhodochrosite's all done. Yep, nice and sealed, dry, looks gorgeous. Look how pretty. Now this one I could have put the loop this way. I could have put it here and made the triangle downward, but I don't have that many that are a triangle this way. Pyramid, I should say, shaped. So I wanted to go the hard route and have a triangle, not upside down. Threaded. Did I put that on the wrong way? Nope. Let's see how it looks. If I can get it clasped. You would think I would be good at this part, but I'm not. I'm really, really bad at this part. I can't ever get my necklaces, my jewelry, nothing on. I always have things that are like stretchy because I can't get anything on. It looks gorgeous. And this piece cost me, I think, $3, $4 at an expo. You can get such cheap pieces if you go to expos and gem shows. And a lot of times you can find like mineral mines, and their gift stores typically have really cheap stuff. But if you find a place in like a city, anything on Main Street, unless you're like in Kentucky or something, it's always going to be more expensive at a store. So I always go to expos and I load up on bags of little tumbles, and I look at them and I see things like this is a geode that I'm going to make, another geode. Hard to tell, but I'm gonna put it right at the top here. Difficult, but I can handle it. And then I can wear it this way, or I can wear it this way. And then I just, you can find cabotons, like the one I showed you earlier, flat back. And, those work easily because they're flat. You usually want to find something flat on one side. Round even works too because you can make spheres. A lot of times I use points. Like if you come across a really broken top of a citrine point or maybe an amethyst point, it's perfect for making jewelry. All these are going to end up being pendants. I have so many. I have a whole box here of pendants. I also have these squares that I use, these rectangles. And I make those too. Like here's my fossil, my coral. And it looks really cool once it's on. Let me show you. Take this gorgeous rhodochrosite off. I'm going to wear this tomorrow. It's so pretty. I figured this video would be about an hour long. So we're at 48 minutes. Let me just show you what this looks like. And you could turn this off at any time. If you have any questions, I'll put my email down or a way to contact me, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. You can ask me questions. Wow. That looks lovely. I have a friend that has a very wide chest and she's begging me for all of these. And I make them for friends too. I tell all my friends, if you ever find a crystal that you want on a pendant, please give it to me. Because as I'm doing these, I'm making a lot at a time. I'm making a whole lot at a time. Here I have this little Epidote in quartz. It's hard to see. That one was fun, a catacon. And I have this azurite and malachite. It looks like broccoli. My husband likes this one. All of these I'm gonna put, they're not finished. I'm gonna put the foil on them probably tomorrow. I think it's bedtime. I thought I was actually gonna get this video done over the weekend, but it seems like I had the motivation and the energy tonight to do it. I wanted to show you one stone that I didn't put any foil on at all. And I typically don't put foil on pyrite. And I don't really know why. It just made me think it doesn't look that good, but you can't even tell. This one's a little crooked, but it just had to be that way. Otherwise, I just really like this one as a pendant. I don't really care that it's crooked because I just think it's so pretty. I don't put foil on it because it kind of blends in naturally. And I guess you can use the discretion on your own to use the foil if you don't care. Or if you have a stone that, say you put, I have a couple that I put the jump ring on the back because of the way that the stone was set up. I wonder if I can find one off the bat that I put behind. No. Oh, I did this skull. This is so fun. If you find skulls, you can do skulls. It's hard to tell that he's a skull, but that's my blue tiger eye skull. So cool. I can't find any that I did. Oh, here's a kyanite. Here we can see the difference. You can see the difference between a wire wrap, and I think it goes this way. No, this way. I just prefer seeing the whole stone. Just when it's around your neck, you're visualizing the stone, you're not visualizing a whole bunch of metal wrapped around it. Just still cool. I mean, I could actually like gift this to a male because I think a guy would love this. So here's one that I kind of set behind. These two I glued together. These stones, you can also glue stones together. I have one really cool one. That's another thing. This one's super cool. These are my balance stones. Sometimes when I'm out of whack or out of balance, you can glue like 3 stones together, like maybe bring some balance to your life. We all need it, right? This one I glued together. I have a piece of sodalite attached to a really foggy quartz. It's hard to tell. See? And I put the jump ring behind it, but I did foil this one. You don't have to, I guess, in this case, but I prefer the foil, except for some pyrite pieces I don't put the foil on. And you can also, this isn't this method whatsoever, but if you find these shells, you could glue a stone inside and either make a keychain. These make really cute keychains. You can make like a cord. If you know how to do cording, you can make a cord and give these as gifts, like keychains. They're just really pretty. And then all you do is put a jump ring through the top, these shells, and they're cheap. They're usually like 25 cents. And this one I put a pearl inside. So there's a lot you can do. I have a lot of different, this heavy, this is heavy. This is pretty heavy, this shell, this fossil. Was that a heart? Oh, there's a heart on it. I didn't even know that. Look at that. There's a perfect heart. Wow, that's fun. This one has a tiny jump ring, and this just goes to show you like how strong it is. It doesn't move. Could you imagine if it like fell right now and I was like, oh, gotta cut the video? No, it really doesn't fall off. The other day, actually, my epidote in Pendant fell off this guy. For some reason, this tiny little guy, another heart. That's fun. This is fun. This guy fell off. The whole stone just fell off the thing, and I just used some jewelry glue and glued it back on because it was still intact. But I felt like and it fell off in my daughter's room, so I was a little, like, not weirded out, but whatever. Here's another one that I glued together. This was a flat broken stone, and this was another flat broken stone. Like, I didn't know what to do with it, and then I threw a pearl on the front, and I made a pretty little, it hangs so pretty. Yep, there's so much you can do. You could get really creative with it. Here's my Amazonite with, I forget the name of this, mahogany obsidian? No, that's the jasper. I don't know what, I need to go to bed. Mahogany obsidian. I got the colors kind of right. Pretty, really cool. It's really fun. It's my sunstone. This is completely in the rough. You can do rough stones. You can do spheres. I did a rose gold sphere. Cool piece of grape chalcedony. I think that's what that's called. There's a lot. I have a rough piece of merlinite, or you call it indigo gabbro. This one I messed up. Oh, see, I can actually get that off. All that. This is a stone I did a long time ago, and I made kind of a mess of it. Look at that. This is like a beginning stone. You can see how bad I was. You'll probably do this, but just know you're not going to ruin your stones, because you can get that off with the acetone. Let's see if I can do it now. We have 4 more minutes. Yep, it's coming right off. The only thing I don't really recommend is, like, I actually have done it numerous times and I haven't seen a problem, but showering and going in water with them, like, for long periods of time, I don't know how the water, like, if it softens the glue. I don't think it does, because there's times where I've wanted to wear a certain stone, not take it off, and the only thing that gets ruined is the chain gets all corroded. So this is coming off. That's so cool. It's coming right off. So I thought I messed up, but I didn't, because now it's nice and clean. Check that out. Cool. All right. I think we're done here. I hope you had fun. I had fun. Let's make some jewelry. Bye.